Obstürmt oder steigt,
und die Sonne uns sagt, der Tag glühend heiß oder eiskalt.
Hello YouTube, this is Stormgoose Shoots 4, also known as Globulus. This is another one of my battles. This is a, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a 6-player free-for-all. I believe it's last man standing, I'm pretty sure it is. I'll go ahead and tell you, toward the end of this fight, the player who, the game gets killed by the host. I wasn't hosting this, but the game gets killed by the host, but it was clear that who the winner was going to be. But we'll get to that point and let you guys judge for yourself. Anyway, I play as Carthage in this fight. I have 3 Sacred Band Cav. I have 4 Balearic Slingers, 2 Poini Infantry, and 4 Sacred Band Spearmen or Infantry. A Briton player, commanded by Troll, has 1. So I think he has 2. I guess he has 3 light chariot missile cavalry, and then he has 2 heavy cavalry regular chariots. Let's see, he also has 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 2. Wow, I didn't realize it was all this. He's got like, looks like 3 chosen swordsmen. Looks like 1 swordsman. God, 1, 2, 3, 4 war bands. He's got some head hurlers here. Got some slingers. Looks like 1 head hurlers. 5 slingers. Julii player, commanded by, I guess we'll call him Maximus here. That's 2, 3, 4, 6 Archer Auxilia. Looks like 6 Praetorian Cav and 6 Urban Cohorts. Go all the way over here to Spain, which I thought was a strange choice. I've never played as Spain. I don't know many that do. Here he's in kind of a new square in a sense. He's got 1, looks like 2 Scutari. I think that's how you pronounce it. Looks like 6 Iberian infantry, 1 Bull warrior unit, and looks like 6 round shield cav. Let's see. Go here to Armenia, commanded by Prince of Lamadon, who is the host of this fight. He has 2 of these Bedouin warriors, which I've never used as Armenia myself. He has 4 cataphracts, 6 archer units, and 6 Armenian heavy spearmen. Go here to the Greeks, who are commanded by LJ Stunna XP. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 armored hoplites. This was a CWB battle, but they're just armored hoplites. Got 2 Spartan hoplites. Looks like 2 Rhodian slingers. Oh, it's 3, 4 Rhodian slingers, I believe. And then he has 1, 2, so it looks like 4 regular Greek archers. Let's go back over here to my part of the battlefield, and we'll get this show on the road. Now my plan of attack here, I saw that the Britannian player was kind of out of position to face my army. He wasn't sure whether the Romans were going to come after him or not, so he kind of kept some of his forces on these right flank to kind of discourage the Romans coming that way. But the Roman player just basically sits here. So the fight really does kind of develop into me against Britannia here. I use my slingers and I just start hitting his missile chariots here. And as you can see, I'm just smashing him with my slingers. And all the while I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. Once I get them decimated enough, I plan on moving my army up here and slowly just taking the fight to him, because I'm kind of wary of chariots, especially as Carthage, simply because your slingers are really the only thing that you have that can deal with them. So anyway, you'll see what goes on here in a few minutes. But like I said, I bring up my army kind of slowly, get them in position, and we just kind of have a skirmish fight for a little bit. So I'll let you guys watch that. Now in the background over here, it looks like Armenia and Greece are going to square off. And let's see what we got going on here. We got these Bedouin warriors and cataphracts moving around the flanks of the Greek player. The Greek player wisely moving his Spartans and his hoplites into position. And this was a really a good move by Prince of Lamadon. Just hit and run the skirmish units of the Greeks. I mean, if you with the Greek army, because they don't have that great a cavalry, you don't see a whole lot of Greek players on here pick cavalry in a free-for-all or in any game for that matter. Excuse me. It's usually their missile troops and their pikes that people seem to pick a lot of. But I thought this was excellent strategy, just to kind of keep the Greek player guessing on where he was going to hit him at. But anytime you can take away the skirmish element of a Greek army, you can pretty much just slowly pick them to death with what you had with your own skirmish units, because there's not much they can do, but especially if you have position and can get around them and hit them from the flanks. So this turns out to be a pretty solid fight. And of course, now we have the Spanish coming in, almost a double team effort in a sense. Yeah, here the Spanish player charges into some archers. Now the Armenians got a little more urgency, so he's going to bring his army more forward and closer to the Greek lines. And the Spaniard, the Spanish king, he's just mowing down some archers, just getting some kills. And there you see Maximus not doing much of anything, just kind of sitting there in the corner. So you go back here to my fight. Trying to come at me with more of these chariots, these missile cav, and I'm just picking them off again with my slingers. And here, I go ahead and I started off hitting his head hurlers here, where they're at. I hit them somewhere, there they are. I started off hitting them, and I end up I change my line of attack, and I start hitting his chariots once my army's up here. As soon as we get on to the good part of the fight, I will come back to this fight of mine. This is just a skirmish fight right now. Here's Armenia and Greece with the Spanish cavalry kind of causing damage wherever they can. And eventually, I believe we're going to see a cataphract charge. Now, from what I've noticed with Spain, he's slowly moving his army forward. but with Iberian infantry, they're really not worth much. Oh, I didn't see this unit. It had a General's Armored Bodyguard unit, so that could help. But what I've seen with the Spaniards here, Iberian infantry, like I said, they're not worth much. He does have the one Bull Warrior unit, which is pretty solid. They seem to, the way this player built this army, it's kind of like he built it to be more of a speed style army, round shield cav, and you know, they're not, you know, once his cav is gone, I don't think he'll do very much here. Yeah, now the Armenian is completely ignoring the Greek player, and so he's going to try to finish off Spain. Yeah, exactly like what it's going to be. And there's the Greeks still going to have a few pop shots on the Armenian troops there. Excuse me. And here you can see really just a routing. He's not quite sure. It looks like to me Prince Blamidon here is not quite sure what to go after. Because you've got all these Spanish troops here in this mass, and looks to me like he just don't want to attack, at least not with his cav. I don't blame him for that, but he is bringing his spears up, getting online. I think we're going to have ourselves a pretty interesting infantry fight here in a moment. Of course, it probably won't last long against Iberians, but we'll see. He still got some cav left that came back from routing here. So that gives Prince of Blamidon and the Armenian players some targets. Oh, I'm going to go to my fight. Like I said, the Roman player's just kind of sitting there. And I start moving my cavalry around. I don't want to engage his chariots with my cavalry. That's a rule for anybody who don't know. You don't engage, unless it's missile chariots, you don't engage regular chariots with cavalry, because 9 times out of 10 they're sky chariots and they will just decimate your cavalry. Anyways, now here I've got my slingers. I moved one of my units of slingers to my left flank to decimate these chariots, which they did. And now I've got them targeting slingers and the head rovers. And I've got this unit here, the slinger unit. I think I've got them targeting. Pretty sure I believe I have them. Yeah, I have them targeting these chariots. So really, my simple strategy was to use my slingers, destroy the Britannian chariots, and then go into battle. Well, more hand-to-hand style battle. You'll see something I'll do here in a minute that's pretty interesting. I almost moved my army. I almost split them up into 2 groups because I wanted to hit his flanks, but I decided not to do that. Yeah, I'm making a charge of my sacred bands onto these slingers. Once I engage them, they rout pretty quick.
This general is the perfect enemy. He does not stand, but runs away. Is there any point in killing him? The gods smile upon you today. The enemy general has been killed and his men lose heart.
Yeah, see, I just completely annihilated his slingers here. And of course, like I said, I'm still targeting his slingers with my Balearic slingers. He tried to make a charge.
Chase them from the field and give them no rest or pity.
Some of these chariots on my sacred bands, but I used my slingers and nailed them. Here I'm making a charge. When all those slingers out in front, I just kind of run through, come out the other side. So I take out a few slingers with me. And he just completely loses. I think he gets impatient here. Just loses his cohesion in his army. Because now it's more or less wrong. And I'll let you guys watch that. But in the background there, you can see Armenia finally defeating Spain. Greeks are sitting there watching. Now what the Britain player does here, it's like he brings all his troops to attack one part of my line. So what I end up doing is just kind of, what's the term? I use my phalanx as like a swinging door and just try to swing his left around and try to get around his, I'm hoping my Powini can hold this flank, and I use the rest of my troops to just try to swing around behind him. What I eventually do, as you can see here, I charge my sacred bands in here and just route everything the Britannian player has, with the exception of a few slingers here. He's still got his general with his missile chariots, and he's got some slingers that came back from routing back here. But this is basically really over, with the exception of me mowing down some units here and getting some kills. Let's go back over here to the Armenia and Greek fight, since the Spanish are now officially gone. Now, I think there was a discussion here between the Armenian and Greek players. I think they were debating on going after Rome here, Maximus. Unfortunately, that gets to be my job. After I didn't take a huge amount of casualties against the Britons, but they did take out a few of my slingers. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to
enemy general shows his value.
do
He's
much
filled
against
only by a desire to save his own
all
skin.
this entire Roman army with my depleted slinger units. I've only got, I think I have 2 units that are of decent
The
size.
enemy flee.
Their 2 units
Chase them
got
from the
picked
field
apart
and
pretty
give
well
them no
by
rest or
his
pity.
heroicness and his slingers. So, but look at all this dead here. I mean, the Britons just got slaughtered, and I'm still chasing. Well, I was chasing them. I slowed it down now. Once I realized the Roman player, I thought the Roman player was going to come in for me, so I decided to stop chasing. But the Roman player decides to head toward Armenia and Greece, which kind of stunned me. I was quite surprised by that. But you're going to see me. Basically, all I do here is I get in a new formation, and I get ready to go after the Romans. And you know, that's basically what happens. Other than that, there's nothing that really happens here. We do have a little bit of a rematch here between the Greeks and the Armenians, where the Armenian player really got hurt was when Spain come in with all that cav and all that long shield cavalry and really decimated his archers. I mean, that kind of shifted the tide of the battle. I thought Armenia was probably going to beat the Greeks early on when they had their first fight in this battle, simply because he had enough archers to, in essence, keep the Greeks pinned down, for lack of a better term, use a more modern term. Excuse me. And he looked like he was going to try to use his camels and his cataphracts, just kind of hit and run. You know, like I said, take care of the Greek archers. Greek, oh, he's got Greek archers. I didn't see that one. He got 2 Greek archers. Anyway, to take care of these Greek missile units, but like I said, once the Spanish player attacked him and attacked the Armenian and got rid of it, more or less got rid of all of his archers, that kind of shifted how the Armenian player was going to fight against the Greeks. So, let's see, we're all kind of wanting to gang up on Rome here. except because they're unengaged. They've been unengaged. Now, I take my guys out of phalanx. I'm just running, trying to catch up with the Roman army, because the Roman army is just outrunning me. And I kind of realized that after a while, now it says Maximus is commanding this, but at this point, I believe the CPU took over. I think he got booted or something. So once I realized that, that's why I started running my forces up here, because we were going to take. The plan is us, myself, the Greeks, and the Armenians we're all going to engage the Romans, take them out, and then fight each other. But like I said, we realized that he had gotten booted. The only reason we were going to do that. So I bring my army up rather slowly, slower than I wanted to. But then I started realizing that that Britannian fight didn't make my troops as tired as I thought. So I go ahead and I kind of do what I generally do. I run a little bit, then I walk some more, then I run. That way I don't completely exhaust my troops by the time they get there. But you're essentially going to see this fight. Armenia and myself fight the Romans. That's really what happens in this fight. I use my sacred bands to great effect against the Red Romans here. Use Julii here. Use my slingers somewhat. Well, here we go. Let's check out the Armenian part of this fight. See, what the Armenian player's problem is, he has no archers. And this Pila that the Urbans fire at his army is just smashing him pretty good. Now the Greeks, they move pretty slow, which I think was on purpose, to be honest. Like I said, the plan was we were all going to engage the Romans, but like I said, the Greek player got kind of out of position. I told Prince of Lamedon he should wait until I'm in the area, but he goes ahead and attacks. Like I said, eventually, here in a few minutes or a few seconds, I will use my sacred bands, like I have. And here he does a pretty good job. I thought for sure he was going to come in and charge some of these archers, but he decided not to, which was fine. He gave these archers all to me. That way his cav could concentrate on the Praetorian cav. Now I try to use my slingers here. I got them on fire at will mode right now. No, I don't. Take that back. I took them off fire at will mode earlier. Now here I try to, even with his Bedouins in the way, I try to sling some of these Praetorians just to get their numbers down, because I don't think my companions can defeat all these Praetorian I don't think my sacred bands can defeat all these Praetorian cav. Even if it's a CPU enemy, I still don't think they can do it. I end up just firing into them. They do take down some of my slingers. I kind of use my slingers as cannon fodder, so to speak. For a CPU component, he sure uses the CPU sure use their cavalry pretty well. That's all I'll say. I see the Greek player in the background there getting some pop shots off. Initially it was the Romans, but I believe it turns out to be firing on the Armenians. And they're one of my sacred band's routes. They got kind of hit pretty hard by these Praetorians. Now the Praetorians here are going to try to charge or not. There we go. Now I'm charging these Praetorians. If I can keep the cav fights localized in certain areas, my two sacred bands should be able to take care of the Praetorians. If I can get them one unit at a time, like I'm doing now, I should be able to do it. kinds of Romans routing
This
over here.
general is the perfect enemy. He does not stand but
These
runs
archers, there
away.
were just so many
Is
of them.
there any point in
I
killing
couldn't
him?
get them all at once. And they started scattering. Like I said, they were in skirmish mode, so they just started scattering all over the place once I hit them with my cab. So basically, my cab is just mowing everything down. It's really what this is. My infantry's not engaged at all. There you see the Romans charging in on the Greeks. That's not going to happen. The Armenian player, what he's got left, he's trying to keep up with the pace of battle with the Praetorians here. You got some urban cohorts after him here. Looks like he's trying to move to get in better position. The Praetorians are too quick for his line. Out here, I'm going to use my sacred band. These Praetorians. Like I said, as long as I kept the Praetorians, you know, single unit at a time with my two, I can defeat them. It's when I'm trying to battle. If I would have tried to go in and fight all of them at once, they probably would have smashed my sacred band. So that's a debate for another time, I suppose. Now I did notice over here these archers were hitting my flank, which is why I go after them first. I think I might turn. No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I go after them, finish off these archers, and then I come back and I use some of my slingers on these Praetorians. But I'll eventually come back and get these guys. And here the Armenians trying to hold on with what he's got left here. I wasn't sure why he didn't engage this unit here. He could have swung it up and around and hit the CPU unit from the flank.
By the gods, the enemy general was a fool. He sacrificed
And,
himself
routing there,
rather
if
than
he would have acted a
leading
little
his
bit
men
quicker,
to a
he probably could
dignified
have routed that
defeat.
Praetorian unit. Now at this point, I told the Greek player they could finish the Romans.
Enemy cowards, run!
Pretty much
Drive them from the
destroyed
battlefield!
most of the army. So I told the Greek player they could fight the Romans and finish them off. So that way, be a little more even of a fight between me and the Greeks. But if you look at the the total number of units, it doesn't look very good for me. But I am thankful that these Romans are absorbing some archer fire for me. As you can see now, I've only got, what, 26 and 17 in my slim and my Balearic units. So I was really concerned about that, mainly because it's the only thing I have, it's the only missile troops I have that can even have a chance against these units. Archers, unless like Carthage, if they had archers, in order to be any good against Greek pikes, you have to get around the flanks, kind of like Armenia did earlier, to even make a dent. Because their big shields that they use are just going to deflect most of the arrows. So, you know, it is what it is. They say, as they say. I'm just moving into position, letting the Greek player finish off the Romans. And, you know, I've got 2 of my cav units left, both of them pretty banged up, though. You know, my sacred bands are fully upgraded. The Greek player, I'm not really sure how many upgrades he had. He's got some golds on his, like they're all gold actually, except for his archers. So, yeah, that made for a pretty interesting fight. So the face face-off will happen here in a moment between myself and Greece. If you look at this, he has a huge missile advantage over me. Like I said, that concerned me because my missile troops weren't near the level he has. I mean, he engaged in a few battles in this fight, but you know, compared to myself or even the Armenian player, you know, we fought the most in this battle, basically, when it comes down to it. Now, my plan with the Greeks here,
The enemy flee!
I was going to bring my troops
Chase them
in,
from the field
kind of
and
form
give
a
them
line,
no rest or pity.
let him use his arrows on my hoplites, on my sacred band infantry and my Pellinis, simply because we're in guard mode, so he's not going to cause a lot of damage to me. I do use my slingers to try to hit. I think I go after the hoplites here on the on his left. My sacred band cav, they are really what I figure to be my major advantage in this. If I can get some hit and run shots in on the Greeks, I have a chance in this fight. And right now, it's more or less a skirmish fight, if you want to call it that, even though he really has all the skirmish troops. Now, this is a strange part of the battle. He sends off some troops. I think he believes I'm going to try to outflank him with my companions. I keep saying that. With my sacred bands. I'm not stupid enough to fall for that. But you'll see what I do here in just a minute. But as you can see, he's got a numerical advantage on me. He's got a lot more infantry than I have. I do have the cav advantage. He has the missile advantage. So really, if you look at this, I mean, the Greek player has all the advantage in this fight. I do use my slingers here. I think did I target them? Yeah, I was targeting these hoplites here with my with what was left of my Balearics. He's trying to hit my Balearic slingers with his Rhodians and his. Which I think his Rhodians are going after my Pellini, and I believe his archers are trying to target my slingers. So they don't do a real good job of that because I got my pikes and my slingers kind of intermingling here. I was kind of hoping to draw him out of position here. My sacred bands, I send them basically all the way around the Greek line here to where they're behind the Greeks. Kind of like I said, I was kind of hoping to get some rear charges in once the infantry fight starts, but it doesn't quite happen the way I planned. I'll just say that. It's really a pretty solid fight, to be honest with you. He really, it's what was the word that Brexisor used? Gritty. A gritty fight. I was surprised at the outcome of this. That's really all I can say. I mean, the Greek player fought well. You know, I fought the way I usually fight. I think the host, Prince of Lamadon, the Armenian player, I thought he did an excellent job with Armenia. Considering, you know, he started off fighting the Greeks and then had to reverse course and go fight the Spaniards. And then he just got outmatched by the Julii CPU opponent. I mean, there were just so much there, and I couldn't deal with it to help him. Here, I go ahead and I see an opportunity. I route one of his units initially. I pull my sacred band back But I did get a good rear charge there. Did some damage. So I'm basically trying to do what Arminio was doing earlier to the Greeks. You know, hit them, hit and run tactics. Try to get rid of some of their missile troops. And here you're going to see another charge, I believe. Now let's find out. Yeah, I do notice that he's moving his Spartans over. I think he thinks I'm going to go for the extreme left of this formation here, but I end up coming back over to the right, hitting these archers. And I pull back out. Like I said, hit and run tactics. Really against the Greek players are effective due to their pikes. You really don't want to get trapped with your cavalry against any pikes, but you know, especially Spartans. So hit and run's not the best way to go when it comes to the Greeks. Now, like I said, we're still skirmishing here. He's got a few of my slingers. Now here I bring my Pony over. Excuse me. And then I bring a Sacred Band unit over. I try to start a little fight over here. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to engage this mass yet because of his archers and slingers. This little section of this little group he has, or bigger group that he has, his main body. So I try to get him a little piece at a time. Essentially, is how this kind of works out. I'll let you guys watch this, and we'll kind of go from there. He does bring some troops over to help. That's when this all kind of goes downhill, and you're going to see this mass of pikes just going at it here in just a minute. I try to get some rear charges on this because I noticed that he is bringing troops over. But I can't really engage too well because he does a good job. Because he has the numerical advantage here, he does an excellent job of really tearing my line up. I can't really charge as well as I would like because he has basically a backup for each of these units that are engaged here that he has. I do get a decent rear charge here. I route his Cretan archers, and I route his hoplites. And here's another charge. Just trying to pick off as many of these Spartans as I can. Frankly, that's what makes a difference in this fight, is me picking off his Spartans. He does eventually get my cav. And my Poeni finally rout, so now we've got Sacred Bands against Spartans. So it's really a pretty solid. My Sacred Band do a pretty good job here. They hold out for a while. Here's more hoplites coming in to help. My cav just kind of sitting back there waiting. He still has all these missile troops left. Here's where I decide just to go for broke. Try to catch him, move a little faster. For some reason he doesn't move. He does here in a minute, I believe. He tries to send everything he has over here, which is basically what I did. I didn't want to send everything in against one unit because I wasn't sure if he was not going over with his main body or not. So what I ended up doing is, see here I used my Sacred Band cav as bait to try to lure some of his hoplites out of position, and it actually worked. I say I've almost got his Spartans. But he's hitting me from the flanks and everything else because it is just massive units. Now I see back here I have the advantage, so I try to charge my sacred bands just to get as many casualties as I can on the Greeks. It looks pretty hopeless for me right now. I still got my slingers, I'm still trying to do some damage. I'm still trying to charge, get some rear charges with my sacred band cav here. As Rex called them, cycle charges. And I do that quite often in this fight. But I noticed that I had the advantage on the, I guess, the south part of this battle. I don't know how else you describe it.
The gods smile upon you today. The
So I
enemy
take
general
down
has been
the
killed and his men
stuff on the
lose
south
heart.
side of this, and I end up moving everything up to fight this big mass. And starting to rout here. I'm starting to gain the advantage, and that's very close when the battle gets cut off. But he starts routing enough. It looks like he was slowly losing it. So we all agreed at the end of this that it was probably going to end up being a victory for me. Essentially because I had gotten rid of this section, now I could just concentrate on one area at a time, on this one mass, and I'm actually doing a pretty good job against it. I mean, he's got armored hoplites, but they're not making as big a dent as he would hope for, I would think. This is about where the battle takes the turn in my favor, and like I said, we all kind of agreed, because like I said, the match got cut short because the host got booted or something, whatever, and we all kind of agreed that it looked like it was going to be me that won it, so we called it a victory for me. This was my 6th straight victory, actually. I was kind of surprised by that. So. But anyway, good game to all my opponents here. Results are going to pop up here in just a second. I'll show you the number of kills, which was quite extraordinary for me. I don't usually get as many as I did in this fight, so I'll let you finish watching this, and pop up the results screen and end the battle. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Because it got cut off, there's no results screen. But the results screen at the end of the game, when I saw it, showed me having 2,796 kills, which I've never done that before. Not that many, especially not with Carthage. I'll tell you right now, most of it was probably the Roman archers, but a lot of it was more than likely this Greek battle. I mean, and I'll take that back. You know, the Britannians, I had a massive victory on them as well. So, anyway, good game to all my opponents here. Hope to play them again soon. Remember, play with honor and bleed your enemy.